The market in Madden 25 Ultimate Team is looking like Mark Sanchez the way it just took a tumble and fell to the ground, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to take advantage and who you've got to be buying before it's too late. Now this video will be divided into two separate parts. Part number one is going to talk about some principles you got to know about before you go through and make your upgrades. I'm going to keep that quick though, and then part number two is going to showcase some specific players you want to be buying right now. Okay, part number one, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. First things first, I would only be upgrading players at skill positions that have 90 speed or more. So wide receivers, cornerbacks, tight ends, safeties, and of course running backs. I would only be buying cards at that position that have 90 speed or more. It's not worth buying anyone slower than 90 speed right now in my personal opinion. Unless you're really a beginner at this game, it's probably not worth those coins. Rule number two, I wouldn't necessarily go crazy on upgrades if you're not planning on playing online or not going to be able to play online for potentially the next week or 2 weeks. If you know you're going to be out of town, it's probably not worth buying a ton of cards for your team, but if you're around, you're playing, yeah, make your upgrades. And number three, always check the price of the set before you go through and buy a player. Reason being is a lot of the time the set price is going to be less expensive than the card sells for on the auction block, but the reason why the card is selling for more is because EA Sports has a 10% tax, which usually is going to juice up the price of the card. So sometimes you can go through and do the set for a player at like 470k versus buying them on the auction block at 500k. It's worth it to do the set if you're keeping the card on your team, but if you were selling them, it wouldn't be a coin making method because of course the 10% tax. So just check the set price of your card before you make an upgrade. Sometimes that's cheaper. Okay, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Let's start talking about the cards you guys want to be buying, and you're gonna notice one trend right here. These most feared 90s, I don't know what happened to them, but they've been absolutely plummeting. If you guys remember, when these cards came in the game, they were selling for 400k, they were selling for 500k, they were selling for 600k. Even for like a card like Jamar Chase, he's 275k right now. And a little bit of foreplay, a little bit of foreshadowing, yeah, Jamar Chase is making this list at 271k. I think this card is a steal of a deal. I know Randy Moss is one speed better, but he's also about 150k more expensive. So Jamar Chase, for me, definitely makes this list. I've used this card on my team. It feels like he's always open. Like, you know that eye paint that George Pickens had in real life? Jamar Chase needs this in Madden. 90 speed, 90 short route running, 90 medium. If you're looking for a wide receiver upgrade in this game, Jamar Chase is your guy, bro. At 271 or even 250 right here, this is an unreal deal. Then sticking on with another really good value card in this game, we got Jalen Johnson making this list. Now, Jalen Johnson is a little bit more expensive. He's 320k. At 320, I think that's a good price. I'd probably rather him at like 280 though, if you're able to find that. But this card, like Jamar Chase, has played really well in game for me. 90 speed, 91 zone. Me personally, I'm running a zone coverage scheme, so I'm more concerned with the zone than I am with the man. He's got good play rec at an 88. The height is there at 6 foot. The acceleration is nice at an 89. And this, in my opinion, is the best, most feared corner in this game. I think he's better than Darrelle Revis. I think he's better than Champ Bailey. Darrelle Revis is a little bit shorter. Champ Bailey doesn't have great zone coverage. To me, Jalen Johnson is the perfect mix of good height and good zone. I'd recommend him. All right, now moving on, I'm actually going to be taking my own advice, and I'm going to be making one of these upgrades in this video. I think Cam Chancellor is a solid buy at 313k right now. I'm going to be going through and purchasing this card at that price point. Why am I doing so? Well, I feel like the safety market in this game is not amazing. We had a lot of good strong safeties, a lot of good free safeties about a month ago, but that's dried up. So right now, I need a new user. Cam Chancellor is a great user at 90 speed. He's going to have good acceleration at an 88. If we take a look at the change of direction, it's an 85, so not too shabby. And to me personally, I want to give this card a go. He's 6'3", so very tall. I think he's going to be a nice in-the-box defender. And at 313k, I like the price point for the card. Realistically, don't see him going below, say, 250k for at least a few more weeks here. Next up, let's go back to the wide receiver market because we ain't done yet. I do want to talk about Randy Moss. I think Jamar Chase is better value, but Randy Moss is not crazy expensive right now. At 375k, that's not a ton for this Randy Moss card. You guys are really going to notice a lot of these most feared players right now, these prices feel super cheap. I think if you get Randy and you get Jamar Chase, that's an insane wide receiver duo in this game. Maybe throw Jalen Hyde in there as well. You got a 91 speed Randy Moss, 6'4", 89 acceleration. EA Sports juiced these stats up. These stats were a lot lower when this card got leaked. The route runnings are great. I would say this card is better than Jamar Chase. Is he 150k coins better? That's up to you to make that decision. I think both of them are good value buys. Every single person I show you in this video is going to be a good value player that's worth picking up for your team. Randy Moss right here is not an exception to that rule. Card is unbelievable, and the price isn't horrible. Now, those are going to be all the most feared players I recommend you guys pick up. I think the prices of those cards are all unbelievable. They're very, very solid. None of them are really too crazy expensive. You can go through and make a lot of these upgrades for 200k, for 300k. Let's take a look at a quarterback now, though, that I think is QB1 in this game. I don't know if I'm going to bite the bullet and buy him right now, but Andrew Luck's 90 overall quarterback card, in my opinion, this is QB1. This to me is better than Lamar Jackson. 87 speed, 91 throw power. So the throw power is a lot better than Lamar. The accuracies are better than Lamar. In my opinion, I think he's got a better release, and they also both get Gunslinger for 4 AP. Now, the main difference you're going to point to is Lamar Jackson is so much faster. In real life, sure, that's the case, but Andrew Luck only has 3 less speed than Lamar Jackson. This to me is QB1. For the time being, I'm using Will Levis. Will Levis really isn't missing a ton of throws right now for me, so I'm going to keep him around for now, but this Andrew Luck card is good, and I think at 499k, it's not a horrible deal. I saw this card up for 400 yesterday, right when Lamar came out, so I probably should have gone through and bought him when that happened, but what can you do? We move. Okay, now we've got a couple more players to showcase in this video. Before we do, though, on the screen right here is the dub we had yesterday on Underdog Fantasy. I posted this pick front and center for all you guys to copy. If you copied it, congratulations on the W, and if you want to check out Underdog, click the link in the description. All right, now let's talk about some other players we want to pick up in this game, because we've gone through and we've covered some receivers, we've covered some quarterbacks, we've gone over a couple other players like a user, but let's talk about a little bit of the pass rush market in this game. Because for me personally, I think pass rusher is a position where I don't necessarily love going through and buying the most expensive cards in this game. Realistically, I don't think that they're making the biggest difference when it comes to a +1 or a +2 in stats, but I'm going to go through and show you guys some really good value pass rushers that I'd recommend you pick up. Like this 87 Micah Parsons was 60k. He's 87 speed, great finesse move. This card's played great, and I'm going to go through and show you like 3 or 4 options you can pick up at good value pass rushers. So Micah, a really good option, a card I'd recommend you pick up. Charles Haley is going to be another pretty solid option at 100k, left outside linebacker. You guys can go through and make whichever upgrades you want. You don't need all these cards, but you just need like 2 solid pass rushes on your team. This card has better block shed and better power move than the Micah Parsons I showed you. The speed is going to be the exact same. This is probably a little bit of a better version than Micah. He's a little bigger, so he might not be as quick, but this card does look good stats wise. Now, increasing our overall threshold just a touch right here, we got Kayvon Thibodeau selling at 100k, basically the same price as the card I just showed you. He's an 88 overall, 86 speed, so a little bit slower than Micah, but a big boost in the acceleration, a solid boost in the block shed, a solid boost in the power move. This card looks good. Haven't used him yet, but I've played against him, and he's actually played pretty good against me. Now, bear with me. I just have 2 other options to show you guys right here, and you guys can kind of make decisions based on what position you need and all that good stuff. But 89 overall Demarcus Ware, sorry, at 165k. I feel like this card's a pretty solid deal. He's got 86 speed, 89 excel. The block shed, power move, and finesse move are all really balanced. A lot of the cards I've showed you had either a lacking power move or a lacking block shed. This card's got it all, so this card's definitely a little more well-rounded than some of the other players. And then finally, Jason Taylor, 87 overall right here. Card's not very expensive, as you guys are going to see. We got Jason Taylor's 87. Where is he? Where is he? I don't see him. Sorry, 88 overall at about 100k. All these cards are basically the exact same price right here. This card's gonna have 87 speed. The block shed's nice. The finesse move is nice. Probably just a touch better than the Micah Parsons card, I would say. So yeah, make your decision based on what 2 pass rushers you want, but you really need at least 2 of those cards on every team. And that's gonna do it for me. Until next time, I'm out. Love y'all. See ya. Peace.